bring to order this. Is this special? It is a special meeting because we didn't get to meet on the first Thursday of the month. I hope that each person had a good religious observance, whether it was Passover or Easter or Ramadan, whichever one you celebrated. We hope, sorry. I got my other hat on tonight, I'm sorry. We hope that you had a good celebration. As we bring this meeting forward, I can't find my agenda correctly. I have it, sorry. Okay, let's call to order and let's do our roll call. Staff, please.
Yes, Chair Smith. Commissioner Eberly?
Here.
Commissioner Kraus?
Here.
Commissioner Rager?
Commissioner Regier is here.
Yes, excuse my pronunciation, thank you. Commissioner Savage?
Here.
And Chair Smith?
Thank you.
And everyone is present.
Okay. I think our order is incorrect. We don't usually do agendas, changes, deletions, and then public comment.
Yes, this is, yeah, I didn't change it for this time, so it is the same as usual. So it's just public comment, as you know, for anything, and then agenda changes and deletions for the agenda itself.
Okay. Do we have any public comment? Do we have any public? I can't see, so I don't know.
Yes, Chair Smith.
We have two people.
Yes.
Do we have any hands up?
Yes, we do, sir.
All right, we have the first speaker, Aram James. Aram, you'll be allowed to speak for 3 minutes for public comment. If you could please mute yourself.
So good evening, Chair Smith. How are you doing? Listen, we had the first speaking session, listening session with Ed Chicata. You made a brilliant comment at the time. Look, it's going to protect you if you have 3 candidates come forward for the public to vet. I went to the other listening sessions. I've been to multiple city council meetings, pushing on this issue. He doesn't want to listen to me. I think he might listen to the HRC. There's been zero response about what the public process is going to be, other than an attempt by somebody that I think was doing his bidding, the head of the Human Relations Department, sending me a letter trying to chill my First Amendment rights. A really bizarre letter, and I wrote her back saying, thanks for your comments, although I disagree with the entirety of your statement and each and every one of your false allegations therein. You're of course entitled to your opinion. I strongly suspect that the source of your comments are from one source, I don't know for sure, and not the multiple female members of your staff as your letter suggests. They were suggesting that because I was getting frustrated enough to say, look, bro, to the city manager, that I was somehow trying to engaged in gender bias, and that therefore, and that my tone wasn't liked by the staff. But you know, I remind you of Westboro Baptist Church, you know, who the Supreme Court said not only are offensive comments, but even repugnant comments are appropriate, none of which my comments were. It's just simply an attempt to chill my advocacy because I keep pushing the city manager to open up the process, which you very eloquently, Chair Smith, said is going to maybe be the chance to bring back public trust. But nobody else has spoke on that issue since you did, and I've commented on that. So, you know, there you go. Also, I'm going to send you all an invitation to a DA and a sheriff's debate. I'm supporting Sean Allen for sheriff. I hope you get a chance to meet him. I think he would be a great choice. Chair Eberly, if you haven't already read Rap on Trial and the necessity to bring in limine motions when youth and adults of color, particularly Black youth of color and adults of color, when they're bringing in rap musics to try to prove guilt, and how outrageous that is when they won't bring in similar comments like Johnny Cass's comment, hey, you know, I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, then, well, you've missed the mark for your clients maybe. But Rap on Trial, you know, in the back, they talk about, you know, Paul Butler, Michael Eric Dyson, and a group of others, Michelle Alexander, who all say it's a brilliant book. So anyway, let's do something to get Ed Chicata to make the police hiring process transparent with at least the 3 finalists. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. James. Do we have at this point any agenda changes, additions, and deletions? Okay, heard none. Has everybody reviewed the minutes from March 10th, 2022? I will take a vote. I'll take a motion. Yes, ma'am.
No, you did exactly what I was about to say, to take the motion. Thank you, Chair.
I'll receive a motion.
A motion to accept the minutes as stated.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All right, we'll start at the top of the alphabet for votes. Vice Chair Eberly,
Aye.
Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Ricker,
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
myself, aye. We have a unanimous vote on the approval of minutes. Let us move to adoption of resolution authorizing the use of teleconferencing for Human Relations Commission meeting during the COVID-19 state of emergency. Staff?
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to share my screen just 1 second. Hold on, please. So hopefully you can just see right now the motion that we usually take to adopt the resolution authorizing the use of teleconferencing. As you know, this is a necessity that we are required to do to authorize city staff to be able to hold this meeting in a remote fashion. So we are still doing so. If we need a motion to be able to do so, if the motion doesn't pass, the meeting will close. I will let you know that if you pass it tonight, your regular meeting on March 12th would be included, so you wouldn't need to do it again at that time. So I'm happy to answer any questions or entertain a motion. And if you will see on the screen, that is the specific motion, how it is worded.
Okay, would somebody please present a motion?
I can do that.
Yes, if we just read the screen.
Yes. So, do I need to say it or?
Yes, they want it for the recording.
So I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the use of teleconferencing for the Human Relations Commission meeting during the COVID-19 state of emergency.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Nice.
We have a second and a third. Thank you. Commissioner Kraus was the one that gave us the first second.
Okay.
All right, let us do it. We will do a vote from the bottom of the alphabet. Chair Smith, yes. Commissioner Savage,
Yes.
Commissioner Regier,
Yes.
Commissioner Kraus,
Yes.
Commissioner Eberly.
Yes.
Thank you. We have passed unanimously. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Chair Smith. I do want to interject that we do have one public speaker, Aaron James, who has his hand raised for this item.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Aaron James, you'll have 3 minutes for public comment regarding this item. If you can please unmute yourself.
So, you'll have to tell me, Chair, procedurally, you've passed the motion. It seems to me that traditionally you let me make the public comments and others before the motion is made and before it's passed. Am I right?
Yes, but we did not notice the hand before, so I do not want to strike the public's right to speak, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So obviously, I'm big time in support of the motion that was just passed. I'm hoping to be down there in person soon, but let me just say, I had my little surgery. It takes a little while to recover. It was about a 7-hour procedure, but I think I'm going to be down there before too long in person. I'm sure that'll make you pleased. But in any event, yeah. But the point is that as a substitute, while my walking has been impaired, which like I said, I'm very hopeful after already 2 months post the surgery that I'm going to be able to be down there talking like I used to in person. But in the meantime, I suspect there are other people similarly situated to myself that would have a heck of a time getting down there. And this has been a lifesaver for purposes of being able to make and participate in our democracy. So I'm glad you passed the motion. I commend everybody on the HRC for doing that. And I'm not sure that we're still in an emergency situation, but I think we probably really are. It's just become so politicized that all of a sudden people are pulling their masks off in public. I'm not doing that. But yeah, I think that's really a good thing that the HRC is doing, because we need to have voices of agreement and dissent of all sorts, and we made it make it as easy as possible to participate. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. James. We'll move to our second agenda item, finalization of fiscal year 2022-23 HRC work plan and buddy and liaison assignments. That is Mike Bolcourt. I would like to start with the buddy and liaison assignments. I want to make them two separate motions. Is that all right, staff?
Yes, and yes, that's fine.
Okay.
I will get, I have a sheet with motions so that they're all done correctly. So I will share my screen to get the motions up.
Okay. So I am going to read the current draft with no editorial, and then if there is any if there are any things that we need to discuss from any commissioner on the buddies and liaisons, we'll go ahead with that. After that, we will do public comment, and then we will go to our motion. All right. Currently, as listed, we have agency contacts. We have Commissioner Savage and Commissioner Kraus. Avenidas, we have Vice Chair Eberly. Palo Alto Mediation Program, Vice Chair Eberly. Project Safety Net, Commissioner Regier. On-house meeting at Stanford, Commissioner Regier. Council Buddies 2022. Mayor Burt, Chair Smith. Councilman, is it Vice Mayor's the official title?
It's, yeah, Vice Mayor Koo.
Sorry, I apologize. Vice Mayor Koo, Vice Chair Eberly. Councilmember Dubois, Councilmember Commissioner Savage, Councilmember Cormack, Commissioner Regier, Councilmember Filsa, Commissioner Kraus, Councilmember Tanaka, Commissioner Vice Chair Smith. Core responsibilities. His rap, Chair Smith, Commissioner Kraus. CDBG, Commissioner Kraus, Vice Chair Eberly. Emerging Needs Fund, Commissioner Savage, Commissioner Regier. Do we have any comments from any of the commissioners on this order or this lineup? All right. Do we have any we do have public comment, staff, please.
Yes, we have two public comments.
Yes.
First is Aram James. Aram, you'll have 3 minutes for public comment. If you can please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you again. So, I've never really commented on this partnership liaison thing, but today would be an appropriate day. Mr. Chair, I understand that your partner is going to be the mayor, Mayor Burt, and I think he is very open to a conversation around more democracy regarding our the choice of a police chief. He hasn't spoken out specifically on that, but when we talked about police reform, when he's talked about partnerships with East Palo Alto, a variety of things, he's been, along with Greer Stone, in my estimation, by far and away the most progressive. If you're linked up on that kind of an issue with Cormac or Philseth, good luck. Yeah, I don't think either one of them has ever seen a police officer that they didn't love. But in reference to, and also, Chair Eberly, I did mediation for my son at his apartment complex last year. I don't think Palo Alto mediation, they're great people, but I don't think they're properly or sufficiently funded to be able to do what they need to do with so many people challenging the exorbitant rent increases. So I hope that if you're partnered up with Palo Alto mediation and Project Sentinel, that you will do everything you can to make sure that they have adequate funding so they can do a really thorough case-by-case approach. We had to do everything sort of really quick, fast, in a hurry, and I didn't feel like we had sufficient time, but I understood, having been a public defender, about heavy caseloads, but also learned as a public defender that you have to slow down the caseload and not let the courts or the office decide the speed at which you deliver due process to your clients. So I'm asking you to do that. And also, Chair Eberly, you could also talk to the Vice Mayor, Lydia Koo, about the critical nature of having a transparent process for the selection of the chief. Everybody on the council, the partners that you all partnered up, seems somewhat reluctant, almost nervous to take on Ed Chicata on this issue. I think we need to as my dad used to say in advertising, you had to use some device to pull people out of their detached neutrality when he did his thing with the Soviets, now the Russians, to try to prevent nuclear war. Boy, we could use him now if he was around. I don't know, with the debacle of the Russians and the horrible pain that's being inflicted on the Ukrainians. But that's for another day. Let each of you, with your council members, speak loud and clear. Chicata's got to open up the hiring process. It's got to be transparent, at least the last 3 finalists.
Thank you. Kat Snyder.
Hi, just to be clear, I wanted to talk about the work plan rather than the liaisons. Is that okay?
The work plan will be the next item.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I will and staff, can we can we put Kat Snyder as our first public comment on work plan, which is the next item? All right, hearing no feedback from the commissioners, I would like to see if we can advance a motion on just the liaison specifically.
I'm happy to put a motion on, but can we I don't remember everybody's
assignments.
Yes, I know my assignment.
No, if so, you can just say liaison and buddies as described in the draft.
Okay. So I move to approve liaisons and buddies as described in the draft.
And I'll second it.
All right, we will, hearing a proper motion and a second. We will, I'll give staff 1 second. Okay, let us do a vote. I will start at the top of the alphabet. Vice Chair Eberly,
Aye.
Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Regier,
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
Chair Smith. Aye. Okay. We will move to the B part of the,
Thinking about making Kajabi your all-in-one monetization platform? It's okay if
okay. We're going to do, I'm going to read the work plan priorities as it currently stands. I will then open up for discussion among the commissioners. We will do this round robin at the 3-minute time frame as given to the public comment, to be fair, public and commissioners. After we do 1 or 2 rounds, depending on what the comments are, we will then go to public comment, and then we'll see if we can generate a motion at that time. I will read what is currently in our draft with no commentary, and then we will open up for commissioner responses. Work plan priorities from our, and just so for public consumption, this list of priorities was developed at our retreat in February. So this wasn't pulled out of the air. So this was, how long was the meeting, staff? It was a 5 or 6 hour meeting? 3, 4. I thought it was all day. So, okay, let us read it. Public safety. Work plan priorities, public safety dash police chief hiring. Lead police chief input session, provide input toward the hiring of new police chief, hear from public on what they're looking for in a new police chief, convey importance of transparency and policies, hiring and reporting, host guest speaker to learn about best practices in police hiring, convey to city manager the importance of using a diversity and equity lens in the hiring process of all police staff. Public safety dash hate crimes. Continue to focus on hate crimes in the community. Explore making a public statement that the city be free of hate speech. Focus on all hate crimes. Focus on individuals who are disproportionately impacted. Ensure that response of data is data driven with recent statistics. Invite FBI to speak to HRC community on their work on hate crime. Explore the intersection of inclusion and hate crimes and hate speech. Public safety, community safety and justice. Discuss, explore concerns about crime, be data driven. Discuss role of HRC liaison with Palo Alto Police Department. Belonging. Respond when appropriate to council referral on looking into current experience and history of AAPI community. Better outreach to AAPI community in Palo Alto. Consider organizing learning series focused on belonging to be decided with public or part of HRC meeting. Possible topics include microaggressions and unconscious bias. Attend diversity, equity, and inclusion training for city commission when offered. Provide an HCR, Human Relations Commission-led forum with other city commissions to explore how to best to consider issues of equity into the practical work that each commission focuses on. Continue to listen, bring forth, and when possible, respond to ideas from the community on inclusion and belonging to the HRC and other bodies as necessary. Better marketing of what HRC is doing, review and find ways to respond to reduce barriers to belong in the city and in the community. Consider ways to increase civil public discourse. Public health. Consider avenues for the HRC to bring light to issues related to COVID endemic planning based on inclusion, civility, societal public comfort side. Consider avenues to help the community move from pandemic to endemic response and maximizes respect and inclusion. Support small business owners as they transition rules for their customers. Focus on areas that the city has expertise on or population that the HRC concerned about. Core responsibilities. HISRAP site visits, spring, summer 2022. HISRAP, this is a big one. Review of process, input from nonprofits, ask for funding for needs assessment. CDBG mid-year review, which we did, was winter 2022. Others, housing, homelessness, which we addressed partially in our liaison when we got back on the Stanford list, and electrification and climate emergency. Thank you. Notice, yes, Sam.
I was just going to say, and this is at the chair's discretion, think what you might be trying to get at today are still these key topics. And when these items come before the HRC for a first discussion, then you might be fleshing out some of those bullet points. And I realize there's some typos, so I apologize for that. But so I think the purpose today is these key items, and when it comes back, you can flesh out the bullets.
Yeah, we're not chasing the details today. We just want to know what field we're going to play on this year. Does that make sense to everybody? These are our focus areas. We don't need to solve every problem tonight. We just need to figure out where we are focused this year. As I remind, we'll have every commissioner speak, and then we'll have every commissioner speak in round robin what they feel about the plan and where do we want to go from here. After that, each person will have 3 minutes, and then we'll do the first round robin. Since we started at the top of the alphabet the last time, we'll start at the bottom, which I'll go last, but we'll start with Commissioner Savage.
And I'll just say that the folks that are on Zoom will not see the timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the timer, and then I'll just hold up my hand when your time is up.
Okay. Well, it's an ambitious agenda. It's an ambitious work plan, but doable over a year. I also think this is kind of a textbook example of what the HRC should be working on right now. I think we've got it right. Do you want us to prioritize what we think? Okay.
We will ask as commission as responsibilities come forward and we start tackling issues. We'll ask people to lead each one, and then they can go in.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I've got. I think we're right on. We are current, and we are on top of this.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Savage. Commissioner Regier.
You're on mute, Commissioner.
I think it's a great plan. There's some I can't remember what we saw. Did we put anything about hiring? I can't remember about the police.
It was number one.
Was that, and I kind of wonder what our roles are with all of that, because we've had liaisons before, so I guess that'll get in specifics later. So that's all I think.
Commissioner Krause.
I think we've got quite a plate in front of us, and it's very full. My soft spots deal with hate crimes and levels of specificity, because we've seen numbers this month that have them hate speech, hate crimes escalating at a very high rate. I'm also, my other soft spot is public health, because I think that as we move forward, we're going to be faced with choices, and we have to coordinate very effectively with the county going forward, because this will not be the last problem we've had with COVID or the last disease that we have to deal with.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
Thank you. At this point, I echo what everybody else has said. I agree. We have quite a full plate ahead of us, and I'm excited to tackle these topics, and I think that they really reflect what's on top of mind in the community. So I think we've done a really great job in narrowing down. I am interested, in thinking, I believe it was Commissioner Regier who brought up climate emergency, which is on the list. And I'd like for the commission to think about, and I'm not sure what we can do about it, but how do we integrate it with human relations in the city? What we can do being human relations commissioners to try to advocate for climate change awareness, or how that's going to impact, how to make these connections between what's happening out there and bringing it back home. So I'm interested in exploring that as well as we work through this work plan this year. Thank you.
Thank you. I am deeply impressed with this work plan. I think it has enough broadness and focus. One of the challenges of any body that does human relations is there's so many different parts of human concern. So to get our context right, to have the right level of broadness, but the right level of specificity, I feel is a really good reflection of this commission. We'll be busy. We'll be very busy, but I think this is an opportunity for us to just knuckle down and get some work done. We'll work through part of the summer too, because there's some heavy lifting as we go through it. If there are there any other commissioner comments? Okay, thank you. Do we have any attendee comments? Yes.
Yes, we have one public speaker, Aaron James.
Well, we asked Ms. Snyder was first because I told her she could come back for this.
Oh, yes, of course. We could do Ms. Snyder first. So Ms. Snyder, if you can please unmute yourself, you'll have 3 minutes for public comment.
Hi, thanks. So I think that this is a great plan, and my concern is about the rise in hate incidents and hate crimes. So my comment's going to be directed to that. I think that at a meta level, inside of multiple of these buckets, I think that we should get the HRC to work with the library on programming. So there's so many things you could choose from there, but I think that the HRC is only so many people, and that and you can only do so much. So some of the programming, like the 100 conversations about race or some of the microaggression stuff, et cetera, could be done through the library. And I bring it up now, even though it sounds like it's nitty gritty, because I think that would mean that you would need to convince the city council that that was a good idea and that they needed to add more funding for library programming, specifically around this stuff, since I think during COVID they hesitated to provide funding for that. The second thing I wanted to note, a bit smaller, inside of the public health, I was thinking maybe also talking about mental health resources for people who are victims of hate crimes would be really good. I know you're mostly talking about COVID stuff, but since we're talking about hate crimes and hate incidents, I wanted to throw that out there. The third thing I wanted to say, and this is mostly just an FYI, on May 9th, the city council meeting, they'll be talking about hate crimes, hate incidents, and your suggestion about the FBI. So I wanted to encourage all of you to show up and give comments on that, because I think that your voices will be really important, and being able to tell them what your work plan is and how that's going to address the hate incidents will be important for that conversation. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. James.
Okay, so it looks like you need to reset the clock. And thank you very much. In this case, Ms. Snyder did a great job, so I can't say that you've saved the best for last with me. But let's put it this way. Your first item, police chief hiring, and you said, Chair, through a diversity lens. This Echikata, unless you push him, unless the HRC personally, he is not going to do this through a diversity lens. He's not going to bring forward the 3 finalists. I've said that again and again, and that's enough for tonight. On hate speech, I'm going to read to you from the book that if she hasn't already read, Defense Counsel Eberly. It's a must read if you're going to defend your clients when they try to bring in rap. They only do it on Black and brown folks, by the way. Rap on Trial, Eric Nelson and Andrea Dennis, with a foreword by Killer Mike. But Andrea Dennis is a prominent professor of law at the University of Georgia, and also former federal public defender. But on page 105 of that book, discussing the Westboro case, the court has taken the position that even when speech crosses the line from offensive to repugnant. In one case, the anti-gay protesters, by the way, they came to Gun High School many years ago, and I was out there protesting against them. The Baptist Church were picketing military funerals in order to draw attention to what they considered a growing and immoral tolerance of homosexuality in the United States. As part of their protest, some people yelled homophobic slurs or held signs that had distasteful slogans like FAG troops, or thank God for, dead soldiers. All of this in front of grieving families. And the court said, as offensive and as repugnant as that is, and I'd call it hate crimes, hate speech, you can't ban it under our Constitution, okay? And I thought it was also very interesting when an Asian American who had a group called, and I'm going to spell it out, the SLANTS, they didn't want to allow him to have that name. A court upheld it. And like Jimmy Baldwin, who said, the N-word was specifically designed for Caucasians, and I'm going to give it back to them because the white folks are the N's, not me, says Jimmy Baldwin. But he says the goal was not to traffic in slurs, but actually to reclaim the word and drain its degenerative force. For the courts, the decision was based on the fundamental fact that, quote, speech may not be banned on the ground that it expresses ideas that offend. I've often said the First Amendment wasn't designed to protect popular speech. Popular speech needs no defense. It's designed for offensive speech. Let's not allow this city manager to run amok.
Thank you so much, Mr. James. All right. I will receive them if anybody's willing to bring forward a motion on this work plan.
I move we accept the work plan.
Do we have a second?
I second.
We have
This is Patty. No, you can't see me.
Commissioner Regier. Okay, thank you so much. Let us start at the back of the alphabet. No, the front of the alphabet. We started commenting. Okay, so Vice Chair Eberly.
Aye.
Commissioner Krause.
Aye.
Commissioner Regier.
Aye.
Commissioner Savage.
Aye.
Chair Smith. Aye. We have a unanimous vote at this time. All right, thank you. Do we have any commission reports for the last month? Commissioner Regier?
Hi. I mean, do we want to just go through the alphabet, or?
I assumed a lot of people took part of the month off because of things going on. So I didn't want to put anybody on the spot. That's why I said.
Oh, okay. No, I just didn't want to take someone else's time. I just want to say, and I know that Commissioner Eberly and we both attended the homeless fair that Minka did or coordinated, and it was an incredible, energizing fair. And I just want to thank Minka for what she did and what she did. And for me, it was like very energizing because I'm not tooting my horn or tooting Minka's horn, but I had been trying to work with getting different organizations that were interested in registering unhoused people to vote. And finally, I mean, Minka had the League of Women Voters there with registration forms, which I was really great. And some of the organizations that were there weren't leaving their booths. So I kind of like brought them and talked to them and brought them their ballots to register to vote. And the other organization that was there was PERT, which is the new, I don't know what it stands for, but it's the new mental health team that's with the police. And this month, I was driving down East Meadow and I saw a young man pacing back and forth off his bike, and he just kept on pacing back and forth. And I came up to him and I said, "Are you okay?" I mean, I made a U-turn, and he didn't even look up, and he goes, "Okay." And that's all he said. And then he kept on pacing and looking at his phone, and it concerned me. So I called the police, and right away they called me back and they said they're sending a team. And I didn't know that when you call, they shut the train schedule, they shut the trains down. And also, I was very impressed with PERT, and I was going to call them, but just life got busy. So they were there. So I got to thank the people, to thank them. And so that was another good thing that happened. And I also, I'm on the sustainability with the school district, working on sustainability. And so a staff member from the city and I are working together on trying to get, at the end of the year, teachers just get rid of a lot of good supplies and so we were trying to work with nonprofits about who could receive these things. So I talked to them on the phone, and I know her, but Evelyn from Karat was there. And so I just she said, "Oh yeah, I would love to do that." So this health fair was real. And then Siren was there, which is an immigration and for refugees and low-income immigrants. And I'm part of that group. So I just wanted to thank Mika, because it really made my life, like I just got a lot of things done in one swoop little fair. So thank you, Mika. It is incredible.
Thank you. I would be remiss without saying that it was not, that I was only one part of that it was the work of the Palo Alto Homeless Service Providers Committee. All of those members, which are like 10 agencies, and I got key support from Alexis Cruz Holloway with the Palo Alto Streets team. And in regards to the League of Women Voters, they were not on my list. They showed up. They must have gotten an announcement and they came. And I said, why did I never think about inviting them? And it was wonderful. So I don't want to take credit for something I didn't do, but it was a great event and a wonderful addition. And I thank Vice Chair Eberly and Commissioner Regier for being there. I felt supported.
Thank you thank you both. Do we have any other commissioner reports?
Yes.
Hi, Vice Chair.
Just briefly, yes. Thank you so much, Minka. It was great to be there and meet so many people. And I also met some students from Gunn who are working on a quilt. And I got to do a project about what does community mean to you, which I thought was so fitting for what we're doing and what's on our work plan for next year. So I guess they're working on that until the end of the year, maybe, and then they'll exhibit somewhere.
I'm trying to find a place where we can exhibit the quilt that the students made.
Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, it was great to see so many of the agencies that I read about in person, So yeah, thank you, Minka. The other thing that I've been up to, which has been pretty intense, is the PAMP recruitment for the mediation panel. So we have gone through the whole recruiting process, I believe, since the last time we met. So I've had several meetings with the committee, the hiring committee, the recruitment committee, not hiring. And we interviewed 10 people and 4 people were selected and will be joining the panel. So that's what I've been up to. Thank you. But I'm very excited about these new mediators.
Thank you for your work on that, Vice Chair. Anyone else? All right.
I have one more. I'm sorry. I have one more thing. I think it was the same meeting that some of us went to with the Art Commission. And that was an incredible.
Yes.
That is incredible. And Mika maybe could talk about what it was just an incredible meeting and what the Art Commission is doing around mental health. And
It was very good.
it was very good. So that's it. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your level of involvement and engagement for each commissioner in our community. And we do, our council member who is always diligently on the call is not here tonight. So I know he has to be super busy because he's very diligent. So I will take the staff report at this time.
Yes, so I have several things for the commission tonight. So one of the things I wanted to let you know is to look for a change to the HRC agenda. So in the future, if there's something that needs to be communicated to the HRC, but is not an action or a discussion item, it's more of an informational report. You'll see those on the bottom of the council agendas. I will start adding those to the HRC agendas as needed. So one of the first ones you'll see, Vice Chair Eberly just mentioned the addition of 4 new mediators to the Palo Alto Mediation Program. In your next agenda, you will just see a listing of who they chose. So I wanted to let you know that. As far as upcoming council meetings that will be of interest to you is on May 2nd. It's so that's next Monday night, item number 14. So you can tell by being item number 14, it's going to be late at night. So there will be clarification of in-person attendance protocols for council and committees. So I'm not expecting you to be there. If you have an opinion about this and you want to speak during oral communications, I'm letting you know about it. And probably tomorrow, I will send you a link to the council agenda. So that is May 2nd. I will let you know that there is a subcommittee from the HRC. I think it's the chair and the vice chair will be working with staff to take the work plan and put it in this format that has been provided to us by the clerk's office. And it will be presented to council with a series of other work plans from commissions on May 18th is the current date. So they're just looking for 1 or 2 reps by the chair or the vice chair, if someone feels strongly, to present the HRC work plan to the council on the 18th. I wanted to give you some updates on some of the referrals that the HRC has received from the council. The first one is renter protections. They asked the HRC to look at the current renter protections to see if how they were actually working operationally. So Vice Chair Eberly and I will be meeting with Palo Alto Mediation Program and Project Sentinel and bringing back a report to the HRC on this. Then they're not meeting till the first week of May, so next week. So I don't think that report will be ready by the May 12th meeting. I think I'm almost certain that they will need to meet a couple times so that we have fully discussed the items, so we're able to bring an informed report and recommendation to the commission.
Staff?
Yes.
Do you see that coming back to us before September?
I certainly do. I think there's a good chance that will come in at the June meeting.
Thank you.
Yes. The other one is the council referral on local holidays. As you recall, the council passed a recommendation to recognize a new series of holidays with proclamations. Juneteenth, Cesar Chavez Dolores Huerta Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, and May is AAPI Heritage Month. But there was a series of follow-up questions that they asked the HRC to give input on. I am working on a report to present that to the HRC to engage in a discussion. So that will be at May or June meeting. The next one is the hate crimes. That is an initiative of the HRC. We are still waiting to, we're going back with Anna Eshu's office and the FBI in planning the pre-meeting before we bring that to the HRC. So those are some actual referrals to the HRC or key HRC agenda items and an update. There is the possible HRC referral from the council to do a project as they did for Black and Brown Lives to look into the lived experience of Asian American and Pacific Islanders. So that will be part of the city's race and equity update report on the May 2nd council agenda. It's on consent. So if they pass this consent item, that means this item will be given to the HRC to complete. There's also Councilmember Tanaka's suggestion at a policy and services meeting for consideration of local hate crimes ordinance for hate speech. That is at this point scheduled for the May 9th action agenda. So if you would like to give input on that, that's on the May 9th action agenda to make, whether to make hate speech a local misdemeanor. So that is all that I have as far as updates. Any questions?
I hope that somebody in city council adds 2 more people to the workload they're giving us. You know, they keep making referrals. I won't hope one of those referrals are 2 more members. Commissioner Kraus.
I love Minka. That's amazing. I'd love to participate in the renter arena since I and Greerstone are 2 of the only renters on this commission that have voice and that live this every single day of our lives. So if there's anything that can be done or anything I can sit in on, I would be willing and able to do so.
Okay, I will check on that. The issue is coming back to the full HRC, but I will be in dialogue with the vice chair about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for volunteering, Commissioner Kraus. Commissioner Regier.
Yeah, I just had a question about the work plan and Commissioner Everall's, about the climate. If we just submitted, if you would submitted the work plan with nothing on the climate, and is it likely that should we put more on there or something? You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that are more in depth and other ones that I don't want that dropped.
I'll say this, when you look at the work plan, they're actually looking for bullet points, like the underlying detail that you're seeing for some of those areas. We probably are going to just take the top 3 or 1 or 2 things. City council wants us to talk, them to look at bullet points and them to say, okay, you're heading in the right direction. That's more that meeting.
Okay, and then back to the work plan. It's kind of off, but I'm wondering, when do we start working? Like, when do we start putting things into the work plan? Because before we used to have our names assigned to certain things.
So let's talk about tentative agenda, and we can use some of that space in May, because my sense of it is we'll have May, June, and then I think you can get a lot if people focus, even if each commissioner takes 1 or 2 things during the summer months. That's a great way to launch us into the fall and have a good body of work to work with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's go tentative agenda. Staff, are there any pre-existing agenda items that we need to make sure that we have on there?
Yes, so the Planning and Community Development Department will be bringing back the CDBG Community Development Block Grant Program Community Participation Plan in May. And they'll also give a quick update on funding from HUD for CDBG that has not been received yet. So I thank you.
So
I thank the chair.
So HUD is going really far behind at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
The second possible item is if I'm able to get the council referral on holidays ready on time with my staff report. And depending on depending on what the council decides as far as hybrid meetings, no hybrid meetings, what that will look like. The HRC may want to reflect on its start time. You started a meeting at 6 p.m. During the pandemic, and you said at some point you would revisit that. So I just put that as a tickler on your schedule to consider. I will also say, though, I know that one commissioner has already let me know they can't make May 12th, and the other commissioner will not know until next Monday. So if we're down to 3 for the 12th, we may have to.
I'll be honest with you. If we could move it from the 12th, it would make my life better. I can make it, but it'd make my life easier.
Right. I will need to check with the CDBG folks because there are HUD deadlines.
Okay.
And they also on a deadline to talk to bring this item to the council. So they have to publicly notice it. So I believe they've already publicly noticed the 12th.
Okay.
So it's not impossible that you do a all Zoom one item agenda, and then people can just join remotely, and then you decide to meet 1 to 2 weeks later.
And if you told the council we had 7 members, we wouldn't have that issue.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. I would like to add, as Commissioner Rivera has suggested, I would like to start divvying up the work plan. I know that there are some things that are already being taken care of by some folks, but we also want to make sure that we don't have anything left unturned or unassigned so that we can all have directions and know where we're going, understanding that some things are a little bit more fleshed out, like the hate speech piece. The train's already moving, so there might be more action items, and there might be more research items on certain items because they're new to our portfolio, or we have to figure it out. I think Commissioner Everly said it best in her description around climate and belonging in community and what all of that looks like for the HRC. So I think each topic, we'll just have to, as we start assigning, also recognize where we are in the development and what process or steps we need to take moving forward with it. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. We are adjourned. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you in 14 days.